For business class this quarter, we've covered two big standards consisting of Standard 3 and Standard 4, but we did not complete all of them. Starting out with Standard 3.1, we have to explain what culture diversity is and how it can affect trade. So, why is it important to learn it? To succeed in a workplace, you need to know a company's corporate culture and diversity issues. When you do a business and you know a country's corporate culture, it is very beneficial for you and your company to make a business successful. You must gain profit, and to gain the profit, you must be able to sell out your products. And knowing a country's culture allows you to know what's a distinct or local person needs and wants, and not miss inappropriately on their taboos, which this contributes to a larger target market within the country. Companies do tend to thrive when they have diversity. Diversity in a workplace is a good and beneficial for a business because there are employers from different backgrounds, a lot of the ideas can have more variety. Employees can give out ideas to their boss based on their opinion and their experiences from their culture and home place, in which this allows the business owner to have more ideas on what to contribute to his or her products, making it more suitable for a larger group of people globally rather than doing it locally, and the target market would increase, allowing more pathways to sell and gain profit. Moving on to Standard 3.2. We are able to identify cultural diversity at work and explain how human resources managers can use it as an asset. In terms of a company doing business, employees are the keys to success. With employees, a business is able to be productive, in which the known traits of employees should have skill, knowledge, labor, and experience. When recruiting someone into your company, it is the job of an HR manager before hiring. Before hiring, you write a job description and then you advertise, which it could be used by internet, schools, ad in magazines, newspaper, etc. And then afterwards, when the job applicant is interested, you check the resume, in which it is the summary of a worker's academic and work history. After checking the resume, you make an interview, in which it is a meeting where the recruiter asks questions to an applicant to see if they are right for the job. The employer finds out if the candidate is right for the job and how the candidates communicate. Other than the employer, the candidate himself finds out that if the job is right for him or her and answers to any outstanding questions. After having the interview done, the HR manager has a background check and which calls on the reference to comment on the recruiter itself. Before applying to a workplace, you should know that you must have responsibility, be initiative, be able to depend, punctuality, professional dress code, self-respect, positive attitude, integrity, and respect for others. After accepting an employee, there are many certain steps in which you retain the employee and describe how his work is done. The first step when you accept an employee to their company, you must happen to have an orientation for him or her. It is a tour or introduction into the job and adjusts the employee into the company, in which could consist of the tour of the building, watch a video about the company, the code of ethics and policies, organization, procedures, and safety rules. After the employer has known or well adapted to your company, you must train. In training sessions, there are many types of training in which you could apply to the employee. The first one consists of on-the-job training. It is usually done under the guidance of a supervisor who demonstrates different tasks while doing the job itself. In terms of the group training, it is a relaxed way for employees to learn new skills as a group. Other than doing retrainings like specific trainings, you could also have job rotations. It moves employees to different tasks or departments to help them gain experience. Job rotations helps prevent boredom and increases the morale or the general level of confidence and enthusiasm. After the employee has adapted to the company and started working for a while, there must be an evaluation. It is done by a performance appraisal in which the manager discusses the strengths and weaknesses. The employees can make check their own progress from suggestions for improvement. And then, once the performance appraisal is done, there are also some changes that could happen in employee status. The human resources managers keep track of the changes in the status of employees. An employee might be promoted when they do a good job, in which it is an award to an employee, in which you could have higher ranks, moving to a better place, and having higher salary, in which another example of a promotion is seniority, in which is the status given to an employee based on rank of length or service. An employee could also go through the process of separation or go out of the job whether they want to or they don't. In terms of not having wanting to go out, it can cause from a layoff in which there are not enough jobs from like the downsize or the economy being bad, and also they could be terminated if rules are not followed and their work performance is unacceptable and their inability to get along with the other workers. Employees can also go through the process of a transfer, in which is moving to another job inside the company, which can cause from another department needs them and the job present of the department is eliminated. Skipping on to Standard 3.5, it is where we identify the growing importance of IT in business and utilize basic business IT terminology. Information technology, or IT, is the use of computing, electronics, and telecommunication to process and distribute information. The world is heading evolution toward the new generation, and nowadays IT consists of computers, the internet, Wi-Fi, and many technological tools based electronically. Most of the time, what we see are its advantages, but there are certain disadvantages it could lead to a huge business failure. Some companies even allow employees to work at home by the process of telecommuting. And for those who work in an office, some companies have restricted access of internet called the intranet to maintain the safety of their piece of information. This standard is very useful to cover, since the world nowadays is moving forward with the use of IT rapidly, in which it could be really hard to catch up with the world if we didn't know the uses of it, thus the correct way of using it, especially within the global company. Businesses could make great use of technology to improve their sales because for the consumers to take notice of certain products, businesses have to advertise. The internet, which is the form of technology, contributes greatly to an improvement of sales because most people nowadays spend a huge amount of time on the internet, both working and communicating online, particularly on social media such as Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, etc., which advertising using these sources can improve the popularity in the sales of the business itself. Other than contributing to money and profit making, computers will also allow virtual training, in which it allows people to stimulate real situation using a computer rather than training it dangerously in real life. Jobs which could apply to virtual training could consist of flight simulation pilots, a room equipped with a cockpit and a video screen, and the entire room is movable, which it is a safe way to learn how to fly a plane without having to risk himself in a real plane without being completely trained. A virtual reality in relating to virtual training is an artificial three-dimensional visual world created by a computer which creates places and action. Goggles and fiber optic globes move and interact with objects, and it is also common in medical training for doctors. After having covered all Standard 3, we move on to Standard 4, in which we only covered one mini standard, which is Standard 4.6. We are able to understand the decision making of process for consumers and their rights and responsibility as customers. Consumers have to make choices before they buy something. With a budget, it is a plan that specifies how resources, or particularly money, will be spent during a particular period. Consumers have to decide what to buy, which is their top priority, deciding when to buy, whether it's seasonal or when items go on sale, deciding where to buy, whether it's department stores, discount stores, off-price outlet, limited line retailers, superstores, convenience stores, warehouse stores, or either shopping at home, which is could be done by online. Also, they have to decide what to pay, which leads to comparison shopping, where they see the differences in costs and is it worth buying. With the decisions they have to make, to be a smart consumer, you must study advertisements and decide whether it provides useful information, which either they come from rational advertising or emotional advertising. Also, to be a smart consumer, you read consumer publications that give detailed information that have been tested and rated. To make the best of your shopping, you shop at sales, either in a promotional or clearance sale. We look for products that are advertised as a selling at a loss or below cost, which also could be called loss leaders. To prevent impulse buying or buying unplanned purchases, you can use shopping lists, and which it can save you money because you decide in advance what to buy and how much to spend. When a salesperson uses high pressure and tactics grabbing your attention and draw you to buying something, you have to resist the pressure and gimmicks. Closely examine any detail or bargain that seems too good to be true. When you buy something, make sure to read labels and warranties. Implied warranties are unwritten warranties that cover certain aspects of the products or its use, in which now we should look for express warranties, whether they are full or limited. Other than being a smart consumer, you must know your rights and responsibilities. There are four basic rights, which are listed in the Bill of Rights, in which the other three are added into later on. The four basic rights are the right to be informed, the right to choose, the right to safety, and the right to be heard. The other three consists of the right to have problems corrected, which the customer takes the product to the store with a receipt to be replaced, in which they could lead on to manufacturer and to the government agency, if the problem isn't fixed. Next would be the right to consumer education. It is how to get the best value and satisfaction for money. Different stores might charge different prices and how to comparison shop. The right to service is to be treated in a respectful and a courteous manner. Other than barging around with your rights, you must have known your responsibilities pretty well. There are 6 responsibilities that you have to know, which consists of the responsibility to inform, in which you have to make sure that you read labels and fact sheets to know what you buy, and the responsibility to choose carefully, in which when you choose, they could affect the environment. Finding the best product and the service at the best price, and make sure to make educated choices as well. The third being the responsibility to use products safely. Always make sure to follow the instructions provided in the product manuals. The fourth one being the responsibility to speak out. Always report unfair, unsafe, and illegal business practices if they are applied to you. Next, the responsibility to seek a remedy, in which it means you solve problems for an imperfect product yourself first before reporting like all the nonsense to a business conductor without having knowing to fix it first. The responsibility to learn consumer skills, which you apply to read the information on labels and packages, compare prices at different stores and look for sales. Pay attention to the media. Always be aware what could trick you, and always read consumer information publications. For this quarter's big project, we are still trying to find the sponsorship for our school yearbook, in which we will continue in the fourth quarter. This is about the end of the video. I hope you enjoy watching, and thank you for your time.